So you open a blank Excel workbook. For the first 12 rows, just type what you see on page 4 of the lab write-up. Enter. After you type the finished entry, press enter. And if you want to move to the next, to the right cell, press tab, enter, and it will automatically return to the first column. Tab. So just keep typing. Starting from row 13, we want to enter formulas. So this is A13, which is the start time of the first period. So that equals to T initial. So click on T initial and press tab. The ending time of the first period equals to the start time of this period plus delta T. Okay, before I press tab to accept this entry, I want to add dollar signs to B5. We're going to explain these dollar signs, what the function of dollar signs later. So press tab for now. The first velocity, V1, equals to initial velocity, tab. The acceleration, this is A1. So we are using our equation. A1 is G minus B over M V1 squared. So that equals to G minus B over M times V1, which is here, squared. So before I press enter, now there are two, you can see that V1 will change to V2 in the next cell, but we want to fix the value of G and the B over M. So click on G, which is this B3, press the F4 button on your keyboard. That will add dollar sign to that quantity. And this is B over M. Click here on B over M and press F4. Now the formula is entered. It's A1 equals G minus B over M V1 squared, where V1 will be changing for if I copy this to a different cell, but G and B over M will stay fixed. Now press enter. Now we come to row 14. This row is the most important row. I will start typing, but I'm not going to explain what they are. You're supposed to know what to enter. Tab. Tab. Previous acceleration. A1. Delta T. Tab. For this acceleration to A2, because the formula is identical to A1, so I'm going to click here. See the black square there? Hold that and drag. This is Excel copy. So it will copy the formula down. Okay, if you click on this, you can see the formula is almost identical to this formula. The only difference is C13, which is V1 squared, now become V2 squared. Now row 14 is all done, so we are going to highlight row 14 and click and drag this black square to copy to bigger times, which in our case we want to copy all the way to 20 seconds. Ooh, very close. Well, if you exceed 20 seconds, you can drag it back. So that is, we have solved for velocity and acceleration, and we have listed them in a table. For position, I'm going to do positions now. Position, meter. It's on the same page, page 5 in your lab write-up. Your initial position. This one you don't care because you're not copying it. But the second one is y1 plus v1 delta t. So that equals to y1 plus v1 times delta t. But delta t needs to be fixed. So I'm going to press F1. Press enter. And now I'm going to copy this to 20 seconds. The first one is 0. Don't worry about it. It's actually increasing nicely. Okay, good. Now we have finished making this spreadsheet. We're now going to create the graphs for velocity, position, velocity, and acceleration. Let's do positions first. So I'm going to zoom in. So do not hold any key on the keyboard. Just click here, select the beginning time from 0 to 20, and then hold the control key and select all the positions. This is y-axis you want to plot. Now hit insert. We want charts, and this is the chart we want, scatter. Okay, so that's position. I'm going to move it to the top. You can change the chart title to position. Oh no, I can't. Next is velocity. So click and drag, hold the control key and click and drag. Select the velocity, which is y-axis, insert, chart, scatter. So here is my velocity chart. Velocity. Wrong. I want to put it here. Yeah, this time you cannot press enter, so just click elsewhere. Finally is acceleration. Hold the control key, select the acceleration, and say insert, chart, scatter, move it to the bottom, and I have to click elsewhere. Okay, so this motion for the skydiver together with 3 graphs, they're solved. We're going to rename this to skydiver. Enter. The second object we are going to solve its equation of motion, is the cat. So you don't need to start from scratch. All you have to do is right click on this, move or copy, check create a copy and move that to the end, and you can, and say OK. You have 2 identical sheets. We are going to rename this as cat. There is only one thing you need to change for this spreadsheet, so I'm going to change it. Yeah, that's the V over M. You can see that. Okay, so that's the only thing you need to change. These are almost ready to do your sketch, but you need to change the scale of the axis so that they match the skydiver, which is in here. We want to say format axis, and we want the maximum not 450 but 1000. So you can see the graph changes. This one, velocity, you want to format axis and change the maximum to 60. Yeah, so that we can sketch them on the same set of axes. Acceleration is fine, so we don't need to do anything to that. Now we want to do the same thing to solve the motion for the free fall. Although you can solve the free fall, which is no air resistance, analytically by equation, but since we have the spreadsheet already made, we are going to solve it by the spreadsheet as well. So move our copy to an end, create a copy, and rename it as free fall. And change the BOM accordingly, and you also have to set the scale of this axis. It will be bigger than 1000. You have to change this to 1000, that to 60, and then you have 3 more lines. So they're all together 9 lines: skydiver, cat, and free fall. Free fall, you have to change your BOM to the right number.